Friday. That's what a friend out on the West Coast calls it. Friday. Friday.
Friday.
Well, I'm Shay Guest. This is the beautiful Michi. And this is Shay and Michi's Guess It Matters. Yeah. Our little podcast, our video. When I began the podcast, Guess It Matters, the sole purpose was it for me to give myself an outlet to practice and sharpen my skills as a stand-up comedian. I had this ambition and to do that. And that's always kind of been something I was interested in, but I didn't have the courage to really pursue it. You kind of helped me along with that. He was like,
well, I think you're very good and you're funny. Of course, now there is some things that I don't get. It just goes, whoop, right by me.
Well, I do that on purpose sometimes. Well, I mean, in fact, it's an art, and it's not the easiest thing for a person to do. We live near Tupelo, Mississippi, and there isn't a plethora of places that you can go and sharpen your craft in that area. Occasionally, a couple of the restaurants around Tupelo will have open mic nights, but when they do that, we're normally out traveling and singing somewhere. And of course, since the pandemic came along, there's nowhere to get in front of an audience and do that. So here we are, right? So I started this podcast, and that was the purpose of that.
Now, wait a minute. I've been your biggest fan of your comedy.
You have.
I've been a great fan of yours.
Well, I'm not arguing with that. You have.
I'll laugh even when I don't understand it.
Well, you're legally obligated to, I think, right?
Yes.
Maybe Lucy did the same thing to Desi. Or maybe he did the same thing to her. Yeah, she was the comedian. All right, so fast forward a few weeks, and as of last week, I decided that the lovely here, Michi, would join me because, let's face it, she's beautiful.
Oh, honey, you handsome too.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to continue to pursue the comedy because I want to be an example to our boys.
Yes.
For 3 reasons. Number one, to show them that it don't matter how old you are, you can still pursue things that you like and your dreams. Number 2, don't give up.
That's right.
And number 3, be willing to change and adapt to what's happening around you. Mm-hmm. Which brings us to today.
That's right.
Last night, when I was preparing for this week's podcast, I was pondering something that a good friend asked me when I started the podcast. The question was, what is your purpose? What are you trying to achieve in doing a podcast? Well, like I said, I'm trying to sharpen my comedic skills. That was my purpose. It seemed more self-serving, though, right? It was more for me, and that's not who I am at all. At all. It is most certainly who I don't want to be. I don't want to be someone that just trying to do something for me, right? Now, if I'm going to be recognized as someone that can hold the title of comedian, singer, songwriter, musician, right? Then I want those things to exist because I'm serving someone else. That's it, right?
Right.
So with that, the podcast will now feature the one thing that matters to me and Michi both. We want to inspire all of you.
Absolutely.
So whether you're listening to our music or watching our videos, we want to inspire you. See, we've been traveling and performing music since we were kids. Michi was 5. I was somewhere around 11. Well, we're almost the same age, but she started 6 years before I did, singing in churches and traveling. Somewhere along the way, we saw something in each other that clicked, and it blossomed, right,
Right.
to what we have today.
Yes.
Now, we've been a lot of places. We've been to Canada. We've been to Japan. We've tried out for The Voice.
Mm-hmm.
She like to kill me over that one.
Yes, I did.
And
Even back when we were teenagers, my goodness, we traveled from, let's see, we went to Ohio one whole weekend. And I think your mother didn't even know that we were out of town that weekend. Bless her heart.
no, we were 12 hours away from home,
And
and
then
we were still in
Florida,
high school.
Florida one weekend. And
Don't try that at home, kids.
that's right. Always make sure you tell your parents where you're going.
That's right. So we're still traveling to this day. We've been married almost 26
26
years.
years.
We still travel, and we try to help out our community with things. The Carolina community invites us to come down to sing and do their plays. We get to go over to some of the parks and do some things during the summer, and those are fun. And we still travel all over the Southeast singing, and hopefully we're going to get to do a lot more of that in the future. Something that we really love to do is give someone some inspiration to become better themselves. Wouldn't you
Yes.
agree?
Agree. And
I had to write some of
encouragement.
this down so
And
that
encouragement. Yeah.
and that was the next thing. Try to be an encouragement to those that are doing the same thing as we are, or maybe just starting out and don't really know what to expect.
Yes.
That's what our goal is. Last year, I worked in California, and a roommate that we had, his name was Kent, and Kent is from the Huntington Beach area, and he travels down to Los Angeles some, and he's a working professional comedy club comedian. I mean, he's doing it.
Wow.
He's legit,
Cool.
and he's funny. Now, he taught me something. We would sit down at night after we'd finish working, and I'd pick his brain, because I'm a musician and singer and a songwriter, and standing up and telling jokes is something it was something I always wanted to do. I mean, I love like the Mark Lowrys and Tim Hawkins and folks like that just can just rattle it off, and it sounds, it's just artistic, and everybody laughs and has a good time. And he said something to me that I already practiced in my music, but I never thought about it as far as being a comedian. And that was know your audience. So I feel like I know those of you that are listening on the podcast or watching the YouTube channel. And by the way, you need to go and like our Facebook page, like our YouTube channel. It helps us out. I feel like I know you enough to know that where you might be struggling, something that we know from our past, we might be able to help you out with.
Yes.
A few years ago, we judged a talent competition in Boonville. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And we were asked to judge some dancers. We don't know anything about dancing, but what
I'm
we know,
clueless on dancing. I have 2 left feet.
but what we do know about is connecting with the audience, and that's what we told everybody that before we started to doing the judging. We said, look, do you, but connect with us. So the winners of that went on to the Mid-South Fair, and there was a couple of people that just were phenomenal, and a couple of dancers that were really good technically. It just looked like they were going through the motions.
Going through
Their moves.
routine movements.
Yeah, they was going through their movements, but they weren't really connecting with us. So singers and musicians do this all the time. Mm-hmm. We witness this a lot. And we talk about it behind closed doors. That person could have been so much better had they had done that. Or that person could have really connected with the audience if they had just got over some things, right? So that's what matters to us.
Yes.
And that's where the podcast is going.
And a lot of people, like you were talking about earlier, just going through the motions of doing a routine with the dancing. A lot of people, when they sing, they go through the routine of singing the lyrics, and they just sing the lyrics. But what I try to tell people in my own personal opinion, you have to make that song yours. Regardless if Sandy Patty sung it, regardless if Amy Grant sung it, or the Isaacs, you've got to find yourself in each song. Or if it's a song that you wrote, you paint a picture for the people, for your audience that's listening. You connect with them through the lyrics of the song and the tune, the melody. I mean, that's how it's done.
You're getting ahead of us, but you're exactly right. Because that's where we're going. That's where we're going in this whole conversation. So if you're a singer, a musician, a comedian, a dancer, whatever you are,
Yeah.
and you connect with people, we want to share with you from now on. We want to inspire you. So if you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and give us a like. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, share our channel. Send us an email or a message on Facebook telling us what topics that you would like to hear us cover.
Yes. By all means. please do.
Today is going to be a good one that Michi's going to cover mostly, because when she gets started on this, we may have to break this up into 2 different podcasts, to be honest with you. And that's fine too if we do. Michi's going to cover you got to be confident in your delivery,
Yes.
right? That's what we're going to be talking about today. It is everything your purpose should illuminate, whether you're singing, whether you're writing, you're playing your instrument, you're dancing, whatever it is you're doing. So, hope you enjoy the show today. We'll get right to it on the other side of our first break. And this is the new and inspirational Guess It Matters podcast. So, thank y'all. We'll see you on the other side of the break. I can hear that. I don't think you can hear it, can you?
No, I can't.
Oh, Guess It Matters. The new and improved Guess It Matters.
Matters to us.
What do you think about it?
Oh, I think this is wonderful. It's exciting and interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, what we want to do is dive into what makes us tick. We have other jobs, but music and stuff makes us tick. But before we get to that, you worked in your garden this week.
Woo, yes, I did. Oh, and I'm so proud of it. I'm telling you, I've already got a little tomato, and you'll see it.
Yeah, there's a picture of it
Yes,
that comes up
yes,
every
yes.
now and then.
You'll see it. I was so
Behind
proud
us.
of that little tomato that just sprouted on out.
And if you're
I've
watching
got-
us on YouTube, you'll see it.
Yeah, you'll see it on YouTube if you see it. And I've got several blooms. Y'all, I've already got squash. I'm telling you, I had several blooms on my squash and my zucchini and my cucumbers. Just fabulous. And the squash and the zucchini are starting to grow out, and I've got little bitty cucumbers as big as my pinky.
You're proud of that garden.
Yes, I am.
You got to relax on your front porch.
Yes, I did. I absolutely love my front porch. I love going on the front porch and having my tea time every evening, right as it's starting to get dark outside, and if the mosquitoes don't run me off. But I love getting my candle and lighting my candle out there and just sitting on the front porch and just soaking in nature and how beautiful that God really is, you know?
You've worked on that porch
Yes, such peace and serenity.
for 2 weeks. It ought to be. Now you kind of tapped into something there. You're talking about just giving God credit
Yes.
because as you were relaxing, you sort of kind of helped motivate this new turn for the podcast, and I think it's a breath of fresh air. You were telling me how blessed that you felt you were since you had been able to you used to do the 8 to 5,
Yes, I did.
and
Clocked in at 8 o'clock, clocked out at 5
you had the 8 to 5 that you did every
for
day
many years.
for at least
Yes.
20 years.
Yes.
And then we'd sing on the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'd have to do rehearsals and stuff during the week at night.
Yes.
And then for 10 years there, we worked in a couple of different local churches too, in Tupelo, where we were
Praise
on
and worship
staff
leaders.
as music directors, praise and worship leader. And so,
Before
now,
you say anything else, those years were so stressful. Very stressful.
well, we
on
were
me.
working. I
Ooh.
was going to school.
Yes.
Now, well, last year we said this last week on the podcast. That last year when I went to work in California, that you took a leap and you came home. I have a home business that we try to run. And everything our singing, our home business, everything's kind of been stopped since the pandemic.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of time to work in that garden and work on that front porch and work on music, that hopefully we'll get to play someday to people
Yes.
like you. She come home to run my business where we help people with disabilities, help them with their Social Security claims. And so, but mostly everything is singing
Yes.
what we do, because those claims they're drawn out, and you work on them for a year or two, and so
Yes. Sometimes too.
sometimes 2 years, and you're getting a new appreciation for what I do, right?
I am, honey. I really am.
We talked about working from home for years, and then you just took a leap while I was in California and said, I'm just going to do this. I believe it's going to work, and you did it.
Yes. Actually, you tried to suggest to me 2 or 3 years before I actually took that big leap of faith, And I'm not going to lie. I wanted to. I wanted to just go ahead and just walk away from my 8 to 5 and come home and help you with your business. But, you know, I had already became complacent because I enjoyed making my own money, paying for things myself, and then being dependent on it. And I was scared to walk away from the 8 to 5 job. But I believe sometimes God just puts things in your pathway just to get you to move. I believe that. And that's what happened. And I walked away. And lo and behold, here I was able to help you whenever you left, even though I had not a clue what I was doing.
So, but moving on, because that's a totally different. I want to stay kind of where we're supposed to be today, and I appreciate everything you did. Don't get me wrong, but I want to talk about helping people with their music
Yes.
and overcoming their fear. But my question about that is, the reason I brought it up was, if you, for all the years I've ever known you, the one thing you were never ever afraid of was standing in front of an audience and just belting out whatever it is you're singing. You just went after it with 150%. But when it came to stepping out and going to from the job you were doing to working from home and trying to start your own business, there was always that fear you wouldn't step out.
That's right.
So your approach to music was a confidence that is unmatched by a lot of people I've ever met. But your confidence in business was completely the other
Different.
way.
Yes.
Now, how did you tap in and use the strength and the courage that you used to sing and perform on stage to overcome the fear of stepping out and working at your own business?
Well, first of all, let me begin with this. When I was a little girl, and when my family first realized that I could sing, and they would get me out on the church stage in front of the pulpit and sing, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I was bad scared. But I overcame that by being able to practice at home. And I know this may sound stupid, but we had paneling walls. And you remember those old knots on the walls of paneling?
Mm-hmm.
I used to pretend those were people. And I would look at those knots on the walls and I would sing directly to them. And as a little girl, whenever I would sing, I would look at those people as though they were knots on the wall. I know it sounds crazy.
I have actually sang at that place before, the knots on the wall.
But
They were real people, though.
But
I'm just playing.
I assure you, it's harder to sing with it just being one or two people in front of you than it is a couple of hundred or 1,000. I'm more comfortable with hundreds or thousands of people than I am when rather than when there's one or two people.
So why are you not afraid when you sing?
It's just I don't know. I don't look at the people being a crowd that's out there, but yet I do see them because I want to be able to paint them a picture of whatever song that I am singing. I make that song to be mine, and I absolutely want to sing as though that they are feeling what I'm singing.
You don't walk up there not prepared either.
That's right.
So that's one thing that we want to get across too, is you don't practice on your audience.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of people that walk up on a stage and they'll make the statement. They say, "Y'all mind if I practice on you a little bit?" Well, that's not the first time they've ever played that.
That's right.
I mean, I can honestly tell you that's not the first time. Well, sometimes it might be. And you can tell if it is. You can tell if it's the first time somebody's ever played. And the other thing that it allows you to perform in confidence is knowing what your limits are.
That's right. I know my limits and I know what I'm doing. That's what
Anybody that's ever heard you sing knows you know what you're doing. And that's the truth. So,
you're embarrassing me now.
well, one thing that's important for people to know that's listening to this, if you're uncomfortable on stage,
The people's gonna know that
well,
you're
they're not only going to know it, they're going to be uncomfortable too.
as well. That's right.
So whatever you're feeling in the moment, more than likely the majority of the people that are engaged with you while you're singing, they're feeling the same thing. If you're up there and you're not confident and you're timid and you're holding back, they're feeling that for you. Mm-hmm. And people that know music are sitting back there going, just let it go, just let it go. You know, they're rooting for you.
Yes.
A lot of people they feel like everybody's judging them, right? Some of the better musicians and singers and performers that I know that haven't come out of their shell, they haven't come out of their shell because they're afraid they're being judged.
Yeah.
And then there's people that shouldn't be on the stage at all, that don't really, they just walk up there and go, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm just going to do this. You should be sitting somewhere in the audience listening to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just,
you got to have a good time along with it. I mean, you've got to enjoy it.
How important is eye contact with an audience?
Very, 100%.
Like this whole podcast, you stood there and looked at me and not looked at your
I'm sorry. I'm talking.
Well, we're supposed to be on we're still getting used to the video.
Yeah.
So, you guys give us a little bit of, last week, I apologize. I put my phone down. That video was not supposed to work on YouTube. It was not supposed to work, and it just worked. And so we kept it. And like halfway through, one of the phones died. Like the one that was on you died.
I think that one died too, didn't it?
It may have. We still got this one. Send us an offering or something so we can get some equipment. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm just playing. Don't do that. You just have to work with what you got.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing. And that's what you should do. Work with what you got, know your limits, and go all out with it. You should, when we had a band director back in high school. His name was Benny Davis. And
Precious.
Oh,
Man. Precious
genius
man.
when it come to music. And he always made a statement. He said, "We will not perform this song live until you're so sick of it you don't
right.
ever want to hear it again." Because that's when you're good at it.
Yep.
And then you have to step over into taking that song and making it
Singing
real
as
to
though-
everybody else.
Yeah.
It's the first time you ever sing it.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a hard thing to do, but that's where you got to get to.
Absolutely.
So I got some notes over here I wanted to ask you.
And another thing too, you cannot be afraid to rub elbows with people and ask questions. If there's a mentor that you know that is really good at any specific talent, you rub elbows with them. You ask them questions. Don't be afraid to ask. And a lot of times, if they shun you, go to somebody else. There's somebody out there that's going to give you good advice.
Yeah, you want to be around people who are better than you are,
Yes,
because that's going to bring you to another level.
absolutely.
I mean, that's how that works. If I started naming musicians that I've looked up to, just in our little clique, my goodness, I'd be here for a while. We don't have enough time. We try to keep the podcast to around 30 minutes, and we're almost going over that.
Well, let's not do that.
So be with get around people that are better than you are. If you're the best musician in your band, then you need to think about getting some more band members.
Yes.
Now, don't be all it. Get around people that make you better. And that's going to help you. All right, so we'll go through these real quick. How important is it not being robotic in your delivery?
Oh my, that's almost like routine. We were talking about the routine dancing and everything. You can't do that. I mean, be real and just have fun. But to be robotic, you can't do that.
How important is it to record yourself and listen to yourself?
100% important.
And if you don't like doing that, find something else to do.
Exactly, because that's the only way that you're going to make yourself better. And I tell you a little secret. Get you a little cheap recorder, one of those little small hand size.
I don't think they make them no more. You're showing your age.
Oh, hush, 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 hush. But anyway, record yourself. Or even if you got an iPhone and you got one of those little recorders on there, record it. And I'm going to tell you something else, a little secret. If you've got a little pitch control on your phone, like a piano that's got the keys on it, or a little pitchfork or anything, before you start to record, use that pitchfork to give yourself a key. And try to stay and maintain and record yourself singing on that key. And then after you play it, see if you're still on that key. That's how you will be able to maintain a staying on pitch, which is very, very important.
Yeah. And last but probably certainly not least, because we could talk about this for hours and never really touch the surface. So what we now need you to do is send us your topics, send us your comments. What would you like for us to talk about in this area? Because this is what we're passionate about, is making sure that people around us rise up. And I'm actually going to try to reach out to some people that mentored me and mentored Michi, and try to get some phone conversations that we can bring into the program, and gosh, we could just take this to so many different levels. And maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you're it doesn't matter what genre of music you do. All these things are practical.
Absolutely.
And specifically to my church singers out there, don't be standing on a stage if you don't believe what you're singing.
Absolutely, that's
But you
right.
know what? For the country singers,
Ooh.
don't be standing on the stage if you don't believe in what you're doing. That's probably another podcast. And last but not least, one of the most important things, you should be open to criticism. For the most part.
Yes.
For the most part. There's
And
some people
it's
out.
hard, but you just have to take it.
But
You have to take it with a grain of salt.
it comes with conditions.
And
Now,
you learn.
Now, if I meet you on the street and I don't know you, and I don't know that you got a music degree from the Chattanooga Conservatory of Arts, and I don't know that, and you start trying to criticize something I'm doing, I'm probably not going to accept that, right? I'll listen, but I'm probably going to be like, where are you coming from? But now I know her. I know how good she is. So when she offers criticism to me, it's easy for me to take that. I mean, I take it. I mean, and it's hard to take it sometimes, but I do take it because it's going to make me better, right?
And you make me better too, because I mean, you have said things to me that has made me just grow and learn. I mean, seriously.
And we have friends that do us the same way. So take everything that we've given you today. I hope it inspires you to, you know what? We're gonna throw up our website, or not website, but our email address is shayandmichi@gmail.com. So you can go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com is Shay and Michi. That's SHAYANDMICHI, for those of you that are listening to the podcast. And we're going to put this on the YouTube channel. Shoot us a private link to you singing your videos, and we'll give you some pointers.
Yes,
and we're not going to criticize you. We're not going to tear you down. We'll give you some good, honest opinion and good, honest, and try to encourage you. This is where you need to work. This is what you need to do. We've done that for gospel groups, Southern gospel groups that they send us a message and say, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And it there's criticism, and then there's critical artistic encouragement. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Where it's
that's a mouthful.
It is, but it's what it does is it's not tearing you down, but it's saying, hey, look at this area. It's just like basically taking a flashlight, going, hey, look at this. And we want to make everybody around us. Yeah.
There's nuggets.
We want to make everybody around us better. And we're not perfect. We don't know it all. We don't know it all.
And we're still learning.
And we've got people that we call on and we say, hey, give this a listen and tell me what you think. And the people that we ask to do that, they do it. Sometimes it's a hard thing. It's sour in our mouth. We don't want to hear that. But then we get to thinking about it and go, you know what? I think I do hear what they're hearing. And it would make more sense to do it that way.
Yes.
And we go back and we try it again. So, but hey, that's all the time we got.
Send those messages in. We want to hear from you, okay?
We are appreciative of all of our subscribers with over 30 in like one day.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And we're going to reach out. We're going to do some things where we give some stuff away, maybe, right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So if we get like 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we'll work on giving something away. Awesome. Everybody likes something given away.
Freebies.
You like freebies?
I love freebies.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for stopping in with us. And hey, some of you people that do the YouTube channel and YouTube videos, hey, send us an email and criticize us. Yeah. Tell us what we can do better. We want to do better. We want this to be awesome, don't
Absolutely.
we? So we're not perfect at it yet. I just learned how to do my editing software like a week ago. So it is what it is, and here we are. Guess it matters. This is Michi.
This is Shay.
Thank you guys.
God bless.